In 1908, a young broke journalist walked into the office of the richest man in America. No money, no name, no plan. Andrew Carnegie looked at him across that desk, the steel titan worth billions, and said something that nobody in that room expected. "Young man, I want to give you a mission. 20 years, no pay, but if you finish it, it will change the world." The journalist said yes. That journalist was Napoleon Hill, and what Carnegie handed him that day became the most read success book in history, Think and Grow Rich. Over 100 million copies, nearly a century of shaping how presidents think, how billionaires decide, how ordinary people dare to dream. But here is what almost no one talks about. Before Napoleon Hill changed the world came very close to breaking him. October 26, 1883. A one-room log cabin, deep in the Virginia mountains. A boy born into poverty so complete that most people who start there never leave. His name was Oliver Napoleon Hill. Appalachia in the late 1800s was not about opportunity. It was about surviving the weak. Families worked every hour of light just to eat. School was for other people's children. And ambition? Nobody around him had the luxury of it. His mother died when he was 9 years old. The one person who made life feel safe, gone. Just like that. His father, James, was a hard man doing his best. He remarried. Her name was Martha. And Martha, this woman who had no reason to care about a wild, angry boy who carried a pistol and picked fights, she didn't try to crush him. She saw something worth redirecting. She took away the pistol. She gave him a typewriter. "You have a brilliant mind," she said. "Use it." That typewriter, that one object, it became his first real tool. Words became the only weapon he needed. At 13, he was writing for small local papers in the Virginia mountains. No training, no connections, nothing but stubbornness and a second-hand machine. His neighbors thought it was funny. He wrote anyway. 20 years, over 500 interviews, the most powerful people in America, one by one. Carnegie, Edison, Henry Ford, Theodore Roosevelt, Rockefeller, Alexander Graham Bell, Woodrow Wilson. He wasn't collecting quotes for a scrapbook. He was looking for the pattern underneath. Why did some people climb out of nothing and build empires, while others, handed every possible advantage, still ran their lives into the ground? What he found genuinely surprised him. It wasn't talent, not luck, not family money or social rank or even raw intelligence. It was something every single person already has sitting inside them: the mind. In 1928, after 2 decades of work, he published The Law of Success. 8 volumes, everything he'd found laid out. But 1937 was the year nothing was ever the same. That year, he released a shorter, sharper version of everything, Think and Grow Rich. It landed like a thunderbolt. The book wasn't really about money. It was about desire, about faith that doesn't wait for proof, persistence that outlasts rejection, the quiet, terrifying power of a mind that has decided what it wants. The first principle of the whole thing was a line so simple it almost sounds like a bumper sticker. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. People in 1937 read that and called it wishful thinking. 60 years later, neuroscientists started finding out it was closer to fact. It sold through the Depression when hope was the one thing people couldn't afford to lose. It sold through the war, through recessions, through every decade since. It has never stopped. Right now, today, it is still one of the 10 best-selling self-help books ever written. So what did he actually teach? Not slogans, not affirmations to paste on your mirror. These are frameworks, the kind that rewire how you see what's possible. The first principle, burning desire. Not wanting something, not hoping for it. Hill was specific about this. The starting point of every real achievement is a desire so intense it crowds out doubt. Obsessive, total, the kind that follows you to bed and greets you in the morning. Every person he studied who built something real, Edison, Ford, Carnegie, shared this one thing. They didn't pursue success. They were consumed by it. So the question isn't whether you want to succeed. It's whether you want it enough that it scares you a little. The second principle, definiteness of purpose. Hill had no patience for vagueness. He said the single biggest reason people fail is that they have never actually decided what they want. They want more money, but no specific number. A better life, but no picture of it. Success, but they couldn't describe it in a sentence. His prescription was blunt. Write it down, put a number on it, give it a date, build a plan around it. Read it when you wake up and before you sleep, until your subconscious stops treating it like a wish and starts treating it like a fact. The third principle, the mastermind. This one was ahead of its time in ways that still get overlooked. No one builds anything great alone. No one. Carnegie ran a circle of 50 advisors, not employees, not yes men, but minds he drew from freely. Ford did the same thing. So did Edison. None of them pretended to have all the answers. Hill's theory was this: when two or more people work toward the same goal in real alignment, something forms between them that's bigger than either of them separately. Not metaphor, he believed it was a real force. We call it synergy now. Hill called it the mastermind in 1908. The fourth principle, persistence. He wrote a whole chapter on this, and one thing he said has stayed with me since the first time I read it. Persistence isn't grinding yourself down. It isn't stubbornness for its own sake. It's the ability to keep going, not because the road got easier, but because the desire got stronger than the resistance. He noticed that most people quit at a very specific moment, one step before it breaks open, one no before the yes, one failure before the thing that finally works. And this is the part that stays with you. You will never know exactly how close you were. Napoleon Hill died November 8, 1970. He was 87. He lived long enough to watch his book reshape how an entire culture thought about success. Long enough to hear presidents and athletes and CEOs say it was the thing that changed them. His words got quoted at graduations. His frameworks taught in business schools. His way of thinking absorbed so deeply into American culture that people repeat his ideas without knowing where they came from. But the man himself, the kid from the one-room cabin who lost his mother at 9, who watched every early attempt at a career fall apart, who was tested by life in ways most of us never will be, he never lost the thread back to where he started. Because here's the thing about Napoleon Hill's legacy that the books alone can't hold. His life was the proof. Not a man who wrote about principles he'd heard somewhere, a man who survived exactly the kind of wreckage those principles are supposed to help you through, and came out the other side with something worth passing on. Before you move on, I want to leave you with one question. What is the one thing you've been telling yourself is impossible, that Napoleon Hill would have looked at and called inevitable? Think about that, because the distance between those two words isn't talent. It isn't timing. It isn't money. It's the decision you make in the next 60 seconds. Next video, we go further in. 5 specific steps, the exact sequence Hill said you have to follow to turn any desire into something real. Most people read Think and Grow Rich and walk away feeling good. Next time, you're going to actually understand it. Subscribe if you haven't. What's coming isn't a pep talk. It's a blueprint.